Hey guys, it's David. Today, I want to talk to you about a video. Which bow is better, Rust or the Verdant Hunt? And really, this is almost about a video of my own personal experience with gear in this game and some of the mistakes. Really, one mistake that I've made in kind of evaluating the Verdant Hunt, or the Viridescent Hunt, I should say. I think that's what it's called. Let's get right into it. Right now, I'm using this, the Viridescent Hunt. Uh, and when I first got this bow, I wasn't all that impressed with it personally. I didn't think it was that good of a bow because my initial testing, it wasn't doing as much damage as my Rust, and there were some cases that it didn't work, like on Storm Terror. It didn't work, and overall, it just wasn't doing the damage I expected to do. Especially since I got it through the battle pass. It is the battle pass weapon, and see, I wasn't like, I don't like it that much. So at the end of the day, I went back to the Rust. So, and this has been my probably the first 4-star bow that I got. It's worked very well for me. I'm Amber. With me, I'm mostly physical attack with her. And it's probably her best, probably one of her best strategies is just a physical attack. I mean, they're Baron Bunny. Until I get the next constellation, I don't think I'll be using that like a ton. There's always some downtime between using Baron Bunny, even if you detonate it, or especially if you detonate it. Between it, popping, your ult isn't always up. I don't really think like, going like all ult is the best build for anyway, since it's not like ridiculously powerful. So a lot of physical attacking is what I've been doing with my Amber personally, and this has worked really well. And something actually recently happened though that kind of changed. Well, two things that kind of changed uh, my opinion on these two weapons, and I've been using the more of the Viridescent Hunt lately. And that is, well, I mean, one is my artifacts, and it was kind of really this that kind of changed it for me. This doesn't have the optimal substats. It's got some defense. It's got a lot of HP percent, but it does have crit damage. That's actually probably the big one. Uh, and it is gold. It's level 20. I can get the attack, the 46.6 attack. That is a lot of attack. Uh, versus what I was using before, which was the Scholar's Ink Cup. And this, obviously doesn't have great substats either. I mean, I've been doing a ton of artifact farming myself because I'm kind of waiting until like 45. Once I get to AR 45, I can really start getting into like the highest difficulty domains and give myself the best chance for cups and other artifacts. But this is what I had before. So once I'm able to get this to 20, get more attack, a higher quality artifact, the crit damage is very nice, especially with when you realize that I mean, Rust is attack, but the Viridescent Hunt is crit rate. So if you look at my attributes here, I set the artifact ones or the oh yeah. If I switch to it, it'll actually change my stats. There we go. So we switch to that. We go to attributes. I mean, I got about 40, and then you're close to. It's not quite the golden ratio, is what some people say, where you want twice the crit damage that you have crit rate. But I've kind of crunched the numbers over here. Let's go over here. Let's switch the scenes here. Go to the web. This is Crush SG's damage calculator that I've been using to calculate these numbers. It's my first time using it. So, and I'm not the math guy here. So, they could be wrong, though. I have done the testing myself. This is a theoretical equipment. This is, actual stuff that I could use and see if the numbers are, kind of correct. And from what I've seen, they are. So, and you can see right here, this is Rust with my Rust. I'm using the physical attack cup, normal attack, 2107. got the normal. This is average, of course. This is factoring in the fact that I'm going to get more crits with the Viridescent Hunt, while the Rust is, more attacks are going to just be higher damage, which is sometimes hard to calculate because if you're first using the Viridescent Hunt, all right, you see like a smaller number, especially if it's like at the threshold that it's less than like 900, less than a 4-digit number. But once you get the crit rate and you're doing double that damage, having that inconsistency can sometimes lead you to kind of a different conclusion on whether or not it's good or not. So having the average is actually really nice. So I'm doing, my regular attacks are higher, but I mean, if you look at the thing between charge attacks, you get a lot more out of your charge attacks. You're getting a lot more out of your bunny on average, and a lot more on the bunny trigger. And of course, I didn't factor in the melt damage. I don't know what I've got with, let's see, let me check my attributes again. I want the mastery got 23 right now, so I'm getting an extra 4.6 on my melt, so that would be like equals, that would be 2.46, would it? It'd be like, well, we could just say equals this times 2. That's 188. And then, if we went to like equals this number, which is 881, times 1.046. I mean, you got almost 80. Well, yeah, that's almost 85, and that's with the charge attack. And that's, pretty crazy. And that actually helps you segue into the second thing that kind of changed up, which is the party that I was using. You can't configure a party while you're sitting? Okay, game. Alrighty. We'll just stand up so we can configure our party setup. It's kind of a weird thing, but whatever. This is my current... Oh. I forgot to change the scene. My mistake. My bad, guys. Hang on a second. There we go. Now you can actually see the party. So I changed my party up. Before, I was running... I had Traveler and Noelle in here. And as you can see, basically what I was doing with these two is they're like kind of like double DPS. The Amber, is getting Pyro on them, and then I'd hit him with Swirl to get the extra fire damage. I wasn't really reacting to an element. I could have used Barbara for Vaporize, but it was mostly me doing physical attacks, sometimes applying Pyro, usually with Baron Bunny or with her Rain of Fire, and then switching to Big D, and then using his E, or in some cases his Q if it was smaller mobs to finish them off, or at least do that extra follow up. So there really wasn't a lot of reactions in that, especially when you see like Noelle. You're not really gonna get any damage off that either. It's a reaction. It's crystallized. Now this is the party that I've been working with right now. I call them the Catasis because Catalyst users, they're all girls. It's a very clever name. This one's a cat. Works on many, many levels. All right. So this we got here with Diona. We've got access to Melt. Also, with these two together, we got access to Superconductor. We got Cryo. We got Electro. I also have Overload, though I don't really use Overload that much because it's more like a knockback. I mean, ideally, I want the Melt because you put Ice and then you get Melt. You get ×2. That's Pyro's biggest reaction. But you do have the opportunity for a lot of different reaction damage. So that definitely helps. Now that I have a Cryo on my team, that makes the normal, like her regular Pyro damage or Pyro attacks a lot stronger. And before, if you remember the other builds here, I'm using a physical attack cup just isn't going to be as good in a team where I have access where I could do a little bit less normal attack damage, but with a much higher reaction damage, especially when you've got the crits. So you're really stacking some of those nice multipliers. And as far as like the Viridescent Hunt, the other thing you can't that's hard to factor in, maybe I can show you. I don't know if I've got like a good place to really do a little like test run, show you something. Maybe I'll go to Abyss. It just gives me access to enemies. Nothing too hard because I just don't want to. I want this to be quick. I don't want it to be like setting up 50 teams. But what Viridescent Hunt does, it gives you a pretty nice, against smaller enemies, is pretty nice crowd control. The Vortex actually does some pretty decent damage, especially with if you're going more for a higher attack build rather than physical damage. I think it might do physical damage since the numbers are white, but I don't know if that's true. I mean, you look at that, it's doing 600, 1200. I think it can crit, which is kind of weird. I guess it's just like a normal attack. Just says 40% of attack, so I don't know if it's what's considered there. I mean, this is obviously these are lower level enemies, so the numbers are going to be, or might be a little bit bigger than what it should normally be. There's a little less mitigation here. Normally I'd like want to hit with Fiona, and I can hit with the melt. You 10k with that melt hit. You also got, since you got aim attacks, you do have access to doing it on a weak point, if they have weak points. I don't think slimes do. I actually did vaporize. Because they're slimes? I don't know. Where'd you go? So like I can... How do you get pushed away? See, that seemed like it took a little long. Like I can set up vaporize like that, but I don't know if you consider my own... I don't know why I pulled away there. Guess I wanted to show the melt damage, but you can see that it gives me an access to like a lot of different options as far as reactions go. I really like Diona as a support because the shield both keeps me alive and actually helps me charge. So there's a lot of practical functions that Diona kind of opens up with, such a spammable shield. Because I'm affected by, I think, did that do melt damage? But anyway, that's kind of a little demonstration. So, is the Viridescent Hunt worth it versus Rust? I'd say. And this is like, actually, I think the biggest point of the video is it really depends. I mean, theoretically, maybe Rust is better. Like, if I had the ideal physical damage cup, but like, for me, it would probably be like, if I went to artifacts, if I had like a golden bloodstained chivalry's goblet that was physical damage instead of like this one's, I don't know, Lisa's using it with, it's got electro damage on it, then yeah, and then I got the physical damage bonus with 25%, which I still have on Aber right now. along with attack. I don't know if that's like the most ideal set, for this particular build, but hey, it's what I've got. Right now there's so much with RNG in this game. It's kind of just depends a lot on what you can get, and that's the point of the video. Is like, I guess every now and then you have to kind of reevaluate as far as like what you have in your inventory, what could you potentially use, or if you want to like keep waiting until you get just the right thing, then you just have to, I guess, make do with what you have. But I mean, for me, this, with the other team, I wanted to start using because I wanted a little something different. So I find the that current party, in some ways, it's a more challenging party than my older one. We're kind of getting more into elemental damage and reactions and stuff, as opposed to where it was like a very safe, where I just use some pyro, then use swirl. I had shield, none the well for a big shield. I have Barbara for the heals. It works 100%, but with this, I got options to a lot of different reactions. I guess really like I think I really have all the elements currently in the game as far as reactions are concerned. Like superconductor, electrocharge, melt, freeze, all that stuff. So it's a lot of fun. But with that, it comes like time to reevaluate whether or not your stuff is the best it could be, or the best at the moment. So that's really it for the video. Viridescent Hunt, as far as like a bow overall, like it's so hard to say would it if it's better than what you have, because depending on what you were doing, what character you had it on, uh what party you're using it in. I mean, if you're going like a physical build, I think Rust is probably the best thing you can get, assuming maybe you don't have a 5-star bow, like, which I don't. I mean, this one's refined 3. I managed to get three of these things, which is kind of crazy. Or maybe it's only 2. No, yeah, because I've gotten 2 copies of Rust, 2 extra copies that I put in here. So yeah, it's good for physical damage. It's gone very well with me. It's just with this new build, new party, and new stuff. Like, again, this could change if I've got if I get something else. Like, maybe if I get like a really sick cup that gives me like pyro bonus damage, maybe I'll like try and switch to stringless and use elemental skills and bursts. So that seems like it kind of be a little bit hard to do, but you never know. You never know. A lot of it, the fun of it is like using what you have and maximizing, uh, different types of things. So, but the Viridescent Hunt, as far as like if you're wondering like whether you should use it in Battle Pass, that's more of a judgment call on your part. I really like using Amber as a DPS, so that's why I got the Viridescent Hunt. I'm liking it right now with this type of build. It's like kind of like a good middle ground between physical damage and so you can still do the elemental damage, unlike the Rust, which kind of uh, narrows you down into doing physical damage more than anything else. And the crit rate's really nice, especially if you have substats that give you crit damage. You can try to get to that. Ideally, I would like a little more crit rate, so it's like 50 crit rate to 100 damage. But right now, this is working great. I like the crowd control, especially good. If you can catch like 4 like hill curls in it, and then set a thing down. Set down a bear and bunny and blow them all up at once. That's pretty sweet. Uh, other than that, unfortunately, it gives extra damage, but a lot of the tougher stuff just doesn't seem to be affected by that smaller stuff, which is kind of a setback. But hey, it is what it is. I do enjoy having it. I'm gonna be getting my second copy out of the battle pass and refining this. I trying to think, if it will show me what next rank, it's going to turn to 50%, which is going to be cool. Guess it only lowers it by a second, which kind of sucks. I was hoping it was like 2 seconds, but it is what it is. That's gonna be cool. I think this is a solid bow overall. The Cyclone's nice. You know, it's got again crit rate, which I don't think any of my other weapons have at the moment. Any of my other bows have at the moment, which can be a hard stat to get. Unless like you've got really good substats on your 5-star gear. So that's another case. I don't want to get too much into it because this video is already pretty long, but if I were to get like some really good substat rolls, I got a lot of crit rate. Maybe I don't need this as much. Maybe I need something else like straight up attack, which is what Rust gives you. And at that point, maybe that even the physical damage is just icing on the cake. I can still get plenty of damage even with it decreasing aim shots by 10%, which is kind of downside. I've actually now that I don't have that, I've been using aim shots more, and in some cases they can be pretty useful. But that's here nor there. I've already spoken for plenty long. If you've finished the video, then that's awesome, man. 20 minutes, 21 minutes. It's pretty solid. Well, I might edit a little bit, but still, thank you guys for sticking around. If you enjoyed it, please like, please subscribe, comment. What do you think of these bows? What do you think this is a good bow? I think the setup's good. Anything about the video. But for me, Viridescent Hunt, very nice, very nice. Rust, also very good. But as you can see, all depends on what you have and which party is. So very situational, very situational. So it's hard to, I guess, don't always trust everything you hear. Sometimes which it can be difficult since if you want to invest heavily in something, it's hard to say like, all right, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? But sometimes you just have to like, I guess, kind of think of like what's gonna be the end game there as far as what you want between party and equipment. So, guys, that's it for the video. Thank you and have a good day.